We got Dead Body Hijinks Part 2 Salmonella Academy. Let's just shade to this one, mum. The last one was so weird, Part 1.
Hey kids, time to talk about more cases of stiff lifting from the days of yore. If you haven't seen Part 1 yet, go check it out. Or don't. I'm a YouTuber,
so
not
weird.
a cop, unfortunately. This first tale doesn't feature an entire dead body, but I still found it interesting enough to talk about. So one day in 2012, a priest was riding a train out of Italy when his bag got stolen by a trio of thieves. Inside the bag was whatever normal personal possessions the guy happened to own, as well as a small vial containing the blood of none other than Pope John Paul II. So this begs the question, why did the priest have Pope blood in his bag? Well, an important way that the Catholic Church honors saints and other venerated individuals is the keeping of relics. These relics are ranked in terms of how close they were to the person at hand. You got something that's tangentially related to a saint in any way, that's a third-class relic. If it's a personal possession of a saint, it's second class. And as for first-class relics, those typically consist of literal body parts and or fluids of a holy figure. Now for you youngsters out there, in 1981, the Pope got shot 4 times by some fascist having a bad day. People are like, holy shit, it's a popicide! Is that even a word?
Oh, that's actually weird, bro.
I'm okay. Oh.
I thought him having a vial of blood, right? Maybe like, I don't know, like they do some, you know, blood fusion. I don't know, like got it from his arm or something. Like, I don't know, he was donating blood or some shit like that. Not this, bro.
Say, who left all this first-class relic lying around? So to this day, there remain 3 objects containing the fine-aged popey juice spilled that fateful afternoon. The vial was found a few hours later by police among the reeds and grass near the station, which basically means the thieves took one look at it and were like, blood? I already make this myself. Lame. And tossed it out without a second thought. Here's the thing though, that's not the only instance of old JP2 getting blood napped. In 2014, a similar relic was yoinked from the church of San Pietro della Ienca in Italy alongside a crucifix. The fact that these were the only items taken led to 2 prevailing theories. Some people thought that, since John Paul II wasn't technically a saint yet, the relic's value would go way up once the man was actually canonized, so the thieves decided to take it now and resell it later. The other theory was way more popular with the media. After all, what use does Pope blood have other than satanic rituals? This story naturally got a lot of press, and the whole world just kind of assumed that Lucifer himself was set to return any day.
Is this all the media? What the fuck? Oh my god, bro. Wait, what year? Wait, is that 2014?
Eventually, the thieves confessed, so authorities came to the rehab facility they were staying at. They returned the cross, but when questioned about the relic, they were like, wait, what? Pope blood? Satan? Do you guys need to check in here too? Eventually, it was found in a rubbish bin on the facility grounds, which means once again, it was just casually tossed out as nonsense. You ever throw out Pope blood? Because apparently, multiple people have done that on separate occasions just in the past 7 years. It doesn't end there, of course.
You know what? I remember that
In 2016, this happened a 3rd time when a piece of cloth with John Paul fluid on it was taken from Cologne Cathedral. I can't for the life of me find a follow-up to this story, which leads me to believe that they're just like, fuck it, Pope blood's more trouble than it's worth at this point. But if you guys can find some conclusion to where it ended up, let me know below. Now, our next story begins with a man named Karl Tanzler, a German-born radiology technologist in early 20th century
Why has he got a
Florida.
sausage?
He looked kind of like Sigmund Freud, except even more evil looking. On the inside, he was
they look so alike. What the fuck?
pretty normal dude, other than the fact that he claimed to have visions throughout his life of some mysterious dark-haired girl. Anyway, in 1930, while working at the Marine Hospital in Key West, he met a young woman by the name of Maria Elena Milagro de Hoyos, called Elena for short. And he said, oh my god, that's a girl from the visions I've been having. Wait, what? We were meant to meet today. We must be soulmates. What? Don't you have like a wife and 2 kids? Destiny. Hoyos was soon diagnosed with tuberculosis, which was considered fatal at the time, so naturally, Karl decided to handle her treatment, going as far as convincing her family to let him visit their home every day. Except, he was a radiologist, so even if there were reliable means to treat tuberculosis at the time, he definitely didn't have the credentials to do so, but whatever. This is the past we're talking about, after all. That place was a shit show from start to finish. I'm not about to get on somebody's case for a little clerical error. In addition to whatever salves and tinctures and such doctors gave to people back then, Tanzler showered her with gifts of clothes and jewelry. I know he meant well, but if I was bedridden with a terminal illness, I'd just be insulted. Like, wow, thanks, can't wait to show off this little number out on the town. Anyway, eventually, Tanzler found that the time had come to reveal his true feelings. Elena, there's something I must confess. I'm deeply in love with you.
Bro!
I'm so glad you feel the same. Hoyos
Okay.
inevitably succumbed to the disease, leaving Tanzler heartbroken. He just wasn't ready to part ways with his pestilence-riddled sweetheart, so he asked the family's permission to commission an above-ground mausoleum for their daughter. And since this was the early 20th century, they said, what a sweet, selfless man.
Oh my
I'm sure he'd
God.
never do this just so he could commit crimes against nature. Then he was like, oh yeah, by the way, could I have some of her hair too? Sure, kind stranger. Here's a bag of her hair we just had lying around for some fucking reason. Again, no red flags here. He went to visit her dwelling nearly every night for 2 years. Then finally one day he said, you know what, kid? You're alright. Say, how's about we ditch this musty old mausoleum and go back to my place? I'll take that as a yes. So he took her home in a little red toy wagon, which is ridiculous. It makes me picture him skipping around, whistling a merry tune. Hey, neighbor. Now here's a riddle for all you intellectuals out there. What do a dead body and a used PT Cruiser have in common? Sure, they both taste terrible, and you never want to be seen in public with one. Most importantly, though, they're a depreciating asset. But hey, that didn't stop old Gnarly Carly from sprucing her up any way he could, wiring her bones back together with coat hangers, replacing her skin with wax and silk, making a wig out of that bag of hair from earlier, and soaking the body in massive amounts of perfume and disinfectants, for obvious reasons. He claimed to have been instructed to do all this by Elena's spirit.
Bro, I genuinely feel sick, man. And the last one was just as... If you haven't seen part 1, right, you definitely need to check out part 1. Part 1 is just
which
as
he would
weird.
apparently talk to frequently. He also did, you know, that thing eccentric loners do with dead ladies in their house, but we won't talk about that. This went on for 7 years. 7 hot and humid Florida years. Until 1940, when Elena's sister saw him dancing with some lady through the curtains. She's like, aw, how cute. I'm glad that old bag of lentils has finally found love. Walks in, comes to find out it's her fucking dead sister. So the cops come, but there isn't any conclusive evidence of any flirting and philandering with the body, so the only crime Carl could have been charged with was grave robbing. Except the statute of limitations was already up by the time he was found out, so they just took the body, tipped their hats, and went on their merry way. Tanzler still missed Elena dearly, but since he couldn't have her cadaver, he crafted a crude homemade effigy of the lady, which he lived with for the rest of his life. Here's the part that really...
Hey, yo, what is wrong with this guy? What, bro, what is wrong? Like, no one thought that he might be a bit insane?
Gets me though. He apparently went back to live with his estranged wife once the jig was up. Just like, hey babe, I know we haven't talked since the whole corpse thing, but I've been having trouble making rent. Do you think I could come crash for a while? Sure, come right in. I'll take your coats. Would you and the demented life-size replica of your long-dead lover that you left me for like a cup of tea? I'd like one. None for her though. It goes right through her. Of course, I'm making all this out to be a horrifying thing for the goofs and gaffs of it, but at the time, a lot of people read the news stories about Tanzler, and many actually sympathized with the man. They saw him as the distraught, hapless romantic that he saw himself as. You know why they had that compassion? Because they listened. Say, what would the world look like if we all listened more? Sponsor time. Listening to audio.
Yeah. Like we're just gonna fall in love with somebody, you know, like, fair enough, right? You fall in love with somebody, right? Because he did fall in love with her while she was ill, right? And she dies. Yeah? What, because you fell in love with her and you're going to wax them up and pretend like they're still there? And just, with a dead body, you're going to replace their skin, retie their bones, retie their arms when it falls. Bruh.
Audiobooks inspires us, motivates us, even brings us closer. And there's no better place to listen than Audible.
Another beautiful dead body hijinks. Oh, we just love these, man. We just love these. If you haven't seen part 1, make sure you do watch part 1. If you guys got any videos you want to recommend, leave it down in the comment section below. If you guys enjoyed, make sure you leave a thumbs up, subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next video.